Okay, everybody, here we are, episode 6. This is Misfit Outliers. We got a little book we're going to share. The link will be below.
We read sometimes.
We're
Not
gonna
just pictures.
We're going to talk about some things, but just to start off, I'm going to put this up front. Thanks for the feedback on the Instagram, on the Facebook page. What we really would like would be if you subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's going to help us out in a lot of ways. So look down below at the subscribe button. You can hit that right now. Now we're going to jump in. So Micah, as we think about Outliers and Misfits, one of the things I think that you and I have talked about is there was a part in our life when we felt like outliers in a bad way.
Yeah.
And then at some point we came to embrace who we are. And then from that, we now see ourselves being outliers in a good way.
Positive way. I suffer from debilitating anxiety and depression because of this feeling. I felt, so if there's a thing I could describe from being a misfit, let's say, or we'll use that word, misfit.
Yeah.
And they use it in the book about the island of...
the lost toys.
The toys,
Yes,
right?
yes,
of
yes,
Rudolph the Red-Nosed
yes,
Reindeer,
yes,
the thing.
Yeah.
I felt like that.
Yes.
And I identified with that cartoon when I was
Yes,
a kid.
yes.
I didn't identify with Rudolph as
No.
Rudolph. I identified
Yes.
with all the toys that were broken.
Yes. Yes.
That was me.
Yes.
So it was a feeling for me of not belonging anywhere. It
Yeah.
was. I felt like I didn't belong anywhere. And as a child, then having that growing up as an adult,
Yes.
I felt like that everywhere.
Yes.
Like I don't belong. And that's a very depressing, lonely,
Horrible feeling.
isolated feeling.
Yes.
I felt like I didn't belong
Yes.
anywhere in the
Yes.
most negative way. Whereas now, I feel like, good, I don't want to belong in that normal. This was the first time I realized I was different. First time amongst all of my peers. It was I remember this, and it's a funny story.
Yeah.
I was at my cousin's house, and it was part of my big Hawaiian family, right?
Yeah.
And we were having a summer party,
Yep.
and I think I was 5 to 6 years old.
Yep.
So I remember this night so vividly. Everybody was asleep. And we're in the living room sleeping. Everyone was sleeping on the floor. I turned to my cousin Shane and I said, "Shane, how do you sleep? How's everyone sleep?" He said, "You just close your eyes and you go to bed." Well, this is me being an insomniac. I never slept.
Yeah.
So I'm amongst all these other peers, for not just my family or by myself, but amongst 12 other kids going,
Everybody here's asleep.
Literally, I'm doing this going,
Yeah.
everyone's in their sleeping bags and going, "Hey,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
hey, man,
Yes.
how do you sleep?"
Yeah.
So you close your eyes, you go to bed. I'm like,
Yes.
fuck. I got up in
Yeah.
the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Remember the old paper out bags?
Yeah.
You wore the paper out bags?
Yeah. Yeah.
I got up in the middle of the night, put on the paper out bags to stay warm, started walking home across town
Oh man.
in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep and I felt so different.
Yeah.
I felt so different. I said, I can't be here.
Yeah.
At 5 to 6 years old, I put the bags, well, probably closer to 7 actually,
Yeah.
put the bags over my shoulders
Yeah.
and started walking home.
Yeah.
I was on the Skyway overpass.
Oh.
The sheriff's department picked me up. "What are you doing?" "I'm going home." Picked me
Wow.
up. They took me home, knocked
Wow.
on my door. "Hey, is this
Wow.
your son?"
Yeah.
True story.
Yeah.
That's the first time I went, I am not like all these other
Yes.
kids. I am different.
But boy, I always think of this as when it was like I was so tired of this feeling. So I was going to a little small rural school up in Redding, California. It's like K through 8, so everybody knows each other all their lives. I moved there in like 7th grade, and they're going to go do sports, and they're going to pick baseball teams. And you've got to try out. You go out here and you do something. And these kids have been playing sports all their lives.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of rural Redding.
This is like the fear moment for the young
God.
boy, man.
And so, and
I
I
already
just
feel
not,
it coming
I'm just
on.
not athletic. I've never been athletic, and still not to this day. And so you go out and you like pitch and hit and run. You do some kind of things. And the principal of the school is also the coach. Little short Napoleon mean guy.
Yeah.
And so that's like on a Wednesday. So then on Friday, he's like made his lists. And we're walking up, and again, I'm in 7th going into 8th grade, and there's 5th and 6th graders and 7th and 8th graders all part of this mix. And so they've got an A team and a B team. And obviously everybody on the A team are all like, 8th graders. And so I'm like just sitting here and I'm like walking up and I'm just like, gosh, I don't know how it could happen, but just if I could somehow be on the A team. If I could just somehow be on the A team, and I wouldn't have to play with little kids.
Then the list is public for all the
Right.
kids to look
Yeah,
at.
well, it's all so you're all crowding around and we're walking up because they just post a list and you're
Dude,
walking up and I'm
remember
walking
that
up.
feeling.
No, and so here I come and I'm just sitting there like in the back, like little tiny skinny Jay, and I've got my baseball mitt and I'm like, oh, my hands are sweaty, and we're walking up and I'm like, if I could just be on the A team, if I could just be on the A team. And there's probably, you think of that many kids, there's probably like 60 or 70 kids.
Right. All crowded
around kind of looking through and seeing what their name is and what they're doing. They're kind of walk off. It's all as expected, right? The, I just remember like, the guys that are like shaving in 8th grade, like, little Jose Canseco's,
yeah, they're
right?
180 pounds and doing like 100 push-ups.
Yeah. So I get up, and so I look up there, and I'm kind of trying not to look at the A list because I don't want to hope, right? But I'm like, maybe somehow it'd work out. So I'm kind of looking at the A, and no surprise, I'm not on there, right? I go, well, just deal with it. Well, on the B list, you've got to find where you are because it shows you what position you're playing. I'm going to be like, left field, outfield. I'm going to be something like, can't do much harm, right? So I'm kind of looking. And it's not making any sense. I'm looking. All of a sudden I go, oh my gosh. All 60 kids are still there. And my hand starts shaking. My lip starts quivering. I'm not on either list.
Oh.
No. And so all of a sudden, and now it gets worse, right? So not only that, but I'm like hyper emotional, right? And so I start sitting there. I start putting my head down. I start tearing up. Well, all of a sudden, like this really nice cheerleader girl comes up. What's wrong? What's okay? And then this other guy runs up and he's like, hey, it's okay, man. You'll be okay on the B list. And I'm like, no, let me just get out of the circle. I'm trying to move out of the way. And he goes, what position are you playing? He's looking. He's like,
then everyone.
You didn't make the B. You didn't make the B team. Now there's 60 kids all talking and the mean kids and the nice kids, and the nice kids are making it worse. Like, it's okay. You don't want to play baseball. Yeah. And so then they start yelling at the principal. The principal comes up and he's like, oh, I don't know. You can play left field on the B team, I guess, if you really want to, I guess. Oh my gosh,
dude, that's like an after-school special times 10.
So,
jeez, dude, are you serious?
Oh yeah. So at the end of the day, to arrive at some place and go, oh, my power is not to fit in.
Right.
My power is not to make the A list and the B list. The power I have is to say, no, I'm on the C, D, E list,
right.
But for me, that's better. And I've got to learn how to take these disadvantages and make them positive.
When did you feel that? Because that's a deep-seated thing, man. Yeah, when did that start turning around for you and becoming almost like a war cry? You know what I mean?
Like today?
Today, like 5 minutes ago.
5 minutes ago.
5 minutes ago. Screw that.
No, so it's to me, it's a million little small steps. So again, when you first said, "Hey, let's do this podcast," I was like, "There's no way." I told you there is no way I would do this. That I said, to be on video, to listen to myself talk, but and so just to give it some juxtaposition, and I don't like it when people brag about things they've accomplished to give themselves status, and so I don't say this next part as a way to say, oh, look how great I am. I want to show how much I turned those deficits to be a positive.
And the hard work behind it, too. It's
no,
not
oh
just
my
a
gosh.
magical moment. It's
so
not like you wake up and you go, I figured
if I
it out.
compare not making the B list, so I was the CEO of a company making, was public on the NASDAQ for a period of time, owned by one of the largest venture capital firms in the United States. And the thing I was most proud of, we had 50 million Americans, 1/6 of the U.S. population at that time, within our software. And that we had built that company from very small and losing money to making money every single quarter, to year-over-year growth, to being extremely successful, and had Fortune 500, Fortune 100 clients that I would go meet with on a personal basis monthly. And I would often come back to Redding, California, and go look at my high school and laugh, and not in a sense like, oh, I showed you, but much more in the sense of in the places that you were weak, you found how that could be a strength later on. And the biggest thing was in accepting who I was. Yeah. And there was, but there was never a point when it was easy. And so again, when you said, when did this start turning for you? For me, right now, today is another step. What's an example when you have seen yourself stand out and you're like, I'm different than other people, and I love that about myself?
The moment I had the courage to tell people I was an alcoholic and I was having problems with my alcohol.
Wow.
That's one of my strengths, I think. How about getting teared up a little bit? That took the most courage, / it was the biggest... it was the biggest vulnerable this is me moment, because the thing about addiction and alcohol, or I say alcohol, but it could be any addiction, but that's what I know. Mm-hmm. There's a shame component to it that makes you want to hide it.
Yes.
there's a shame component that perpetuates that going back into the abuse of that thing.
Yes.
And shame usually is a huge trigger thing for addicts, and it's also this perpetual momentum thing. Because then you feel ashamed, so then about being an alcoholic, so then you drink more. Then you feel ashamed about that, so you drink even harder as a self-punishment.
Yes.
And a lot of addicts, if you're watching this, you know what I'm talking about. So the moment I saw how powerful shame was in that cycle, I was driving back from a paddleboard certification, and I was stuck in traffic. And a person who, I won't say the person's name, and it's not important, but this person archetype, let's say, wanted to use that against me as a weapon. Oh. Wanted to weaponize my shame. Yes. You owe me this. Yes. I watched you be drunk. I watched this happen to you. Right. And you owe me. And I was like, fuck. And I wanted to hide. My initial reaction was hide it. Yeah. Cover it up. Right. And I said, no. Yeah. This is a power someone's holding over you. Yeah. This is something that's been used against you internally, intrapersonally. In that moment, I said, no, no more. Yeah. When I went home, I talked to my daughter. Yeah. I walked into her room. I said, honey, I'd already stopped drinking. Yeah. I said, do you mind if I go on social media and expose this and be vulnerable about it? Wow. I said, do I have your permission? Because she was on Facebook. Right. And I didn't want to do that to her. Right. She said, Dad, I love you so much. I'm so proud of you. So I said, can you do me a favor? Yeah. Can you watch when I do it so I know you're watching me? Yeah. And so she sat in her room, and I got on Facebook, and I just said, this is me. Yeah. This is what I've struggled with. I've been an alcoholic. I've been abused alcohol for a long time. Yeah. Those of you who have watched me. So that to me was the ultimate turning everything on its ear.
Taking the shame away.
Taking everything and turning into a positive. Like I'm going to, not just for myself, but for anyone watching, if I'm the guy, the fitness rah motivator guy, I'm not going to fucking hide behind this false sense of this person while I hide in shame from these other things. I'm going to expose this shit. Yeah. And to me, that was the ultimate, getting all of my emotions, you're too emotional, Micah. That's my whole thing as a kid. You're too emotional, you're too this, you're too that. And going, no. I'm going to take all these TOOs and I'm going to use this as a positive. Yeah. And it was getting that and being utterly me.
And look at this now. One of the biggest things about your positivity, one of the things that you do to attract people is you just be you. Right. So I ask people sometimes, hey, do you go to Micah's gym, or do you know who Micah is? And it comes up, you're a well-known person around town, and people say, the most positive guy. And so in that TOO thing, that now is one of your strengths, that you go, I am so much me, and it attracts people. That for people that are looking for positivity, for strength, for encouragement, you're a resource. People watch your videos and go, because it makes my day better.
And the thing with being a misfit, and the thing with being authentic, and the thing with being normal, as I see so much hurt in people, and I see so much anxiety and depression, not because of who they are, but because of who they think they've let down by being themselves, which is a fucking travesty. Yeah.
I never want to say like, oh, look at me because I am so great at doing this. I can say, look at me because I work so hard at it, and that I struggle. Even today, doing things in my life, there's things I struggle at because of this feeling. But what I would say, if I have any advice, is as horrible as it feels to be rejected, as horrible as it feels to feel different than everybody, to feel that you don't fit in, to feel that you're lacking in some important way, it feels better to be your real self and not care.
I'd want to leave you with this. This, I guess, will be my closing statement. Yeah. It's real easy to say I love myself. It's really fucking hard to say I like myself. I love humanity. Doesn't mean I want to sit with them all, and I like them all. Loving yourself is a blanket statement, like, oh yeah, I love me, I love my... But do you like yourself? Get to really dig and like yourself. You're amazing, unique, special. Like those things about you, and compare yourself to no one. That's my sign off today.
I'm good. This was surprisingly amazing. This was good. Yeah. So we're going to put the link in, the Misfit Manifesto.
I cried in the gym.
That's right.
I was in the gym crying on the bike going,
it's good.
It's good. It'll get to you.
It's good. And again, thanks so much. We appreciate everybody that gives us feedback. We thanks everybody for the likes and the
Yeah.
follows and all that kind of stuff.
Episode 6.
Episode 6 in the can, be live. And as always, my sign off. Thanks, Elon.
Don't be a dick.
Is good.
All right, guys. Have a good one.